Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Video number 2 of the day. For some reason, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's cutting off the top of my head. I think maybe I've been playing around with my seat or something. I don't know. Welcome. Today, or in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the case of Madeline Soto. Now, my amazing mod, Jamie, is already on here, and she's already told you guys if you want to see Madeline's case page, you can do that over at my website. There is a link down below, but if you just go to gavinfish.com and click on cases, and then you'll find Maddie's picture, you can find this case or this page. It has all the videos that I've done so far on Maddie's case. It has all the documents except the ones that we're going to talk about today, but as soon as we're done with this live stream, I will put them up there so you guys can see it. It's got some audio recordings. That is the interview of Stephan. So anything that you would like to know about the Madeline Soto case, that is where to go. And of course, Jamie's on top of things, guys. The very first comment right there, she is giving you that link. So please feel free to visit the page anytime. Now, the news broke yesterday, and I think here on YouTube that was probably Duty Ron that broke it to the YouTube nation, I guess. But I wanted a little bit of time. I just had some other things I wanted to look at, and I wanted a little time. There's not much detail. There are a few docs, but because it's Maddie's case, we can actually spend some time after we've gone through the docs to talk about the case a little bit, because I have some questions still. Specifically, my questions have to do with this woman who is Maddie's mom, Jen Soto. And I have questions. I still have questions about her. So let's get into the document, shall we? The first one that I want to show you guys is the press release from the state attorney. In Florida, they call them state's attorneys or state attorneys, whereas most of the nation, we call them district attorneys. Same thing. It's because they have judicial circuits that it might be multiple counties. In fact, Mr. Bain is Orange and Osceola County in Florida. So here is the press release, and then we'll get into a couple other things. Okay. State to seek death penalty against Stephan Stearns. There we go. Osceola County, Florida, the 9th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office has filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty in the first-degree murder case against Stephan Stearns for the murder of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. Remember, there are actually 2 cases against Mr. Stearns. Number 1 has to do with all of the SA that he perpetrated against Madeline from the time she was 8 years old. That's the first case. The second case is the murder case, right? And so that's important as we get down a little bit into this. By the way, guys, if you will do me the favor, I have a little filter that I like to put on. If you have a comment that you would like me to see, please put GF in that comment so that I will see it, okay? All right, Madeline Soto was reported missing, we all know, on February 26th by her mother. During the investigation into Soto's disappearance, law enforcement found several disturbing pictures and videos on Stearns' phone. He was arrested on 60 charges, including capital, we'll call it SB. You know what? I'm just going to highlight them here. You guys can read them, right? Let's just highlight those, so we don't get demonetized and nobody sees this video. Soto's body was found in a wooded area less than a week after she was reported missing. In April, a grand jury indicted Stearns on first-degree murder in her homicide. And I actually think that I have that here. It was a very short, grand jury indictment. Just say, hey, yep, with a premeditated design to effect the death of Madeline Soto, a human being, he unlawfully killed her. That's what it said. Okay. The decision to seek the death penalty in a homicide case is based on several aggravating factors the state intends to prove, including the capital felony being committed while the defendant was engaged in the commission of or an attempt to commit aggravated CA. Okay. The victim, number two, the victim being particularly vulnerable because the defendant stood in a position of familial or custodial authority over the victim. Number three, the capital felony was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. And number four, the defendant was previously convicted of another capital felony or a felony involving the use or threat of violence to the person. Then parenthetically, the current sex charges against Stern will serve as priors if he is convicted. Please check the Osceola County Clerk of Court's website for updates on the defendant's future court appearances, which I have. I haven't seen them scheduled yet. Our office acknowledges the public interest surrounding the case. However, we cannot provide further comment to protect the integrity of the case. And I think you and I can all reasonably understand we want the integrity of the case protected, right? Florida is already a very open state. We have lots of information on this case. And so, we hope that the state attorney's office will keep things, will keep these under wraps, and they will prosecute a good case. Now let's see. There were a couple other documents here. Let me bring you back here. This came from the circuit court. For some reason, they've got something happening with their font here, but this is the actual filing in court, the notice of intent to seek the penalty of death. And it says, the state of Florida hereby notices the defendant. Oh my goodness, can you imagine being in Stephan Stern's position right now? Can you just imagine? Like, here's your notice, defendant. Here you are, Mr. Stearns. We're gonna seek the death penalty in here, and we think you deserve it. Okay. State of Florida hereby notices the defendant and the court that based upon the information available at this time as to the facts of this offense and the defendant's prior record, sufficient aggravating circumstances do exist to justify the imposition of the death penalty as to this defendant in this case. Therefore, the state will be requesting the imposition of the death penalty should the defendant be convicted in this case. And I am wondering if this is a matter of plea bargaining. Like, do they want to simply get him to just plead to this? We'll put you in prison for the rest of your life. We'll take the death penalty off of the table. You can plead guilty to all 60 of the previous counts, to the murder count, and then the rest of the world and us, we can forget about you for the rest of time. Is that what they're doing here? I kind of hope that's what they're doing. I mean, I'm not anti or pro death penalty. I think that there are some things that you do that you can never, ever, ever make amends for. Ever. No matter what you do. And in those cases, I think the death penalty is justified. I really do. Okay, pursuant to Florida statute and the statute number, the state intends to prove and has reason to believe it can prove beyond a reasonable doubt the following aggravated circumstances. 1, the defendant was previously convicted of another capital felony or of a felony involving the use or threat of violence to the person. Keep in mind that the other 60 charges, because the charges, I mean, this is Florida law, and it's actually kind of new on the books in the last couple of years, and it probably won't stand up to appellate scrutiny. I don't think so, but it's going to require a case like this in order to make it up through the appeals process. But anyway, it is a capital offense to do what Stephan Stearns did to Madeline Soto in the state of Florida, which I think is beautiful. It's one of those things you can never take back. What you do to a child in this manner, you can never, ever, ever take back. And we should remember, I want to remember the victim in all this. But let's plaster this guy's face everywhere because he is a person that wants anonymity, and so we're not going to give it to him. Okay, number 2. The capital felony was committed while the defendant was engaged in the commission of or an attempt to commit aggravated CA. Number 3, the capital felony was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and for the victim of the capital felony was particularly vulnerable due to advanced age or disability, or because the defendant stood in a position of familial or custodial authority over the victim. And then I certify that a copy hereof has been furnished to Alicia C. Smith at the courthouse. And that is signed by Danielle Marie Pinnell, the assistant state attorney. The other document that was filed here is the public defender's designation of capital case, defenders, and certification of compliance. Okay. So Stern's a lawyer is on notice as well. Comes now Robert Wesley, public defender, 9th Judicial Circuit, pursuant to Rule 3.112, Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, and designates that Elizabeth E. Burden has been appointed as lead counsel and that Alicia C. Smith has been appointed as co-counsel in the defense of Mr. Stephan Michael Stearns in the above captioned capital prosecution. Further, I hereby certify that both Elizabeth E. Borden and Alicia C. Smith meet or exceed the minimum standards for attorneys in capital cases as required by the rule. And then I certify that a true and correct copy of the foregoing has been furnished to the Office of the State Attorney, Robert Wesley. So I guess Wesley is the chief public defender, and then Ms. Borden and Ms. Smith are probably his assistants. So let's, now that we've taken a look at that, let's take a look at some comments here, guys. Remember, if you really want me to read a comment, put GF in your comments so that I can see it. And let me see if there are any of those real quick. Yeah. Kelly says, hi, Gavin, justice for Maddie. Thank you, Kelly. All right, let's go through some of your other comments here. People from Mooney's here, people from Arizona, Washington State. So glad you're here. It is a 2 for Tuesday, Mooney. This is my second live stream of the day. If you guys didn't catch my first one, that was just a couple hours ago. Texas Patty, this is horrific. He is a monster. Indeed, he is, Texas Patty. And I don't know if you guys have gone and read the like supplemental reports. Like over on my website, you can read these. If you scroll down, my Patreon subscribers, my patrons have full and unfettered access to these, but I also do them in video so that everybody else can have access to them. But yeah, the amount he tried to, he tried to do a factory reset on his phone, but then yeah, there were like 1,700. This is the paragraph right here. 1,700 files on his Google Drive depicting horrific scenes with who I guess, I mean, the closest thing to being a stepdaughter that he would have, right? I know that he wasn't her stepdaughter. But yeah, these documents are extremely disturbing. And Texas Patty, I definitely agree with your assessment. Got Lily from Ontario. Mooney's been waiting for us on this one. Yeah, I should have been a little faster on the draw on this one. Texas Patty says she's a monster as well. I think Patty's probably talking about Jen Soto, and this is something I want to talk to you guys about. We've watched the police body-worn camera footage. We have read this document that I was showing you guys before. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah. Like, okay. When asked if it was normal, this is Detective Moore talking with Stephan, I think. No, let's see. Oh, no, he's talking to Jennifer. Okay. When asked if it was normal that Stephan and Maddie sleep together without her being there, she said yes. Jennifer stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Oh, man, I'm not even showing you guys this. Sorry. This paragraph right here, right? So she stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Guys, to me, that is code. That is code. She is encoding her message that she would send, I think, this is my opinion, her little daughter, her 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and barely 13-year-old daughter into another room to be abused by her boyfriend. That's what I think she's encoded here, right? Orange County detectives had previously shown Jennifer photographs of Stephan's, genital area for identification purposes. Jennifer did not want to believe that Maddie and Stephan were engaged in SA, right? Jennifer asked to see the image of Stephan and Maddie. The officer pulled out a printed picture from Stephan's Google Drive and showed her doing a very, dang it, I keep doing that. Showed her doing, I've blurted out, a very graphic thing. And Jennifer said she didn't recognize anything in the picture, as if she was in denial. However, she became visibly upset. So yeah, I think, like, Patty, I'm with you on this, man. I really think that there should be charges brought against Jen Soto. I really do. I'm hoping that they're coming. Seems like it's been too long though, right? I'm hoping that they're coming. Lily agrees with Patty. She had to know what was happening. Guys, just that paragraph that I just read, just the paragraph that I read, to me, just tells me everything that I need to know there. Suzanne, yeah, justice for Maddie. Michelle agrees that they're both monsters. Let's see. What else is going on? Golden Spudlets. Always good to see you. I love that handle too. It's the best. Texas Patty says, yeah, it looks like he checks all the criteria. Criteria being capital felony while the defendant was engaged in the commission of or attempt to commit aggravated CA. The victim was particularly vulnerable because of his familial or custodial authority. It was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and previously convicted of another capital felony, which I don't doubt that will happen. I think he will plead to that. Yeah, AC reminds us technically it was her sister and grandmother that reported her missing to the police. And that is another indication, right? That is another indication, AC, that she knew what was going on. The fact that she said things like in her statement that we got her ready for school at, what was it, about 8:00, but we know, or we suspect, based on the times that Stephan Stearns was caught on video, she was already dead. So yeah, I think you're right on that. Felon 45 fake Prez. Wow. You definitely have expressed your feelings, sir or madam. The mom, Jen, seems very off, detached, almost like she can't connect the dots in her life. Yeah, this photo of her is one of the reason that I use this photo is because of that. It is a perfect representation of what I feel Jen Soto's personality is. Like, it might be unfair, but yeah, she feels like just disconnected from reality, right? Lily says, I wonder if Maddie's mother is working with law enforcement to keep from being charged herself. Either that or they don't have enough to charge her. I mean, all of the evidence that has been released so far, and I think that we can all agree we don't have any idea how much evidence there is. I think there's way more, right? But maybe they don't have the evidence to charge her. Or maybe they're making her feel like they do, but if she helps, they won't, kind of thing. And I would imagine that she is represented by counsel at this point, but there's nothing in the court that indicates that anything has happened to Jen that I have found anyway. And so it wouldn't be a public defender. It'd have to be a private lawyer at this point, right? Yeah. Felon 45 agrees with Lily. Michelle says Jen needs to be charged. Mooney agrees. Jen needs to go down. What was Lily's question that... Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, hey, Sunny Drop. Welcome. Glad you're here. Okay, what does AC say? I'd prefer DP, okay, but I think life without parole and Gen Pop would be terrifying for him for the rest of his life, which is a justice in itself. Yeah, I have a hard time. I have a hard time fighting just in myself feeling this way. I mean, I think it's perfectly natural for a human being to want vengeance, especially when there will never be justice. I mean, as much as we want justice to be served in this case, there will never be justice because Maddie will be gone forever. And what he did to her before he took her life, allegedly, let's say, that will never be taken back. It never could be taken back. So because we know that there's never going to be justice, I understand the need for vengeance. At the same time, I have a hard time with that. I have a struggle internally because human life has value, and all human life has value. And I think I've shared with you guys before that a family friend of ours, man, my mouth is dry, sorry. A family friend of ours, a close friend of my father's, college friend, committed a heinous crime against multiple people that we love and was sent to prison. And in prison, he took his own life. And because he is a person, he's passed away, obviously, he took his own life. But because he's a person that I have a personal connection with, it simultaneously makes it harder to like or love a guy like that. But it also, I just remember all the really fun times in my life with him. So if human life has value, I have a hard time with the vengeance side of things. But I guess I'm droning on and on about that. I'm having the argument out loud right now. But AC, I completely understand your point of view. Yeah, Sunny. Lots of welcomes for Sunny. Glad you're here, Sunny. Everybody loves Sunny. It's always sunny. Ha ha. All right. Yeah, Mooney's saying the same thing. Life without parole with Bubba and Gen Pop. Yeah. Let's see. Jamie doesn't have the same struggle that I have. They're doing the Lord's work as inmates. You know, have you guys seen, there's a pretty famous video of a guy, an inmate, who killed his cellie, who had done the kinds of things to a child that Stephan Stearns had done to Maddie, allegedly. And yeah, he killed him. And then when he went to court, he just like, yeah, I did it, and I'm happy I did. The world needs one less of him. Yeah, Jamie, I think you're on that guy's side and AC's side. That's pretty funny. AC says he should be afraid to fall asleep every night for the rest of his life, just like Maddie. Yeah, every time I look at photos of Madeline, number one, there aren't enough of her photos of her. And that is, to me, that's like a 13-year-old girl. There just doesn't seem to be that many photos of her. And to me, it's pretty tragic that her life is so poorly documented. But when I look at photos of her and I see that little smile of hers, I just wonder what's behind her eyes, right? What is it that she's thinking of? Was she able to block those kinds of things out? Was she able to was part of her childhood able to be happy? When she was at the birthday party, for example, I know Stephan Stearns was there too, but or when she was at school with her friends, was she able to be happy? And I really, really hope so, because home was not a safe place for her, obviously. And yeah, it's just extremely sad. Supernatural AL, depraved indifference. I'm not following. I'm going, let me see. Supernatural. Yeah, I'm not following you, sorry. Sorry, Supernatural. Let's see. Gavin, in one of the initial discovery documents, there was a mention of Jennifer Soto being transferred to Ops. Do you know what that means? I'm guessing Osceola Police Station. I believe that is what that means, Kelly. Sonny, you are expressing exactly how many of us feel. As a single mom, my daughter is an adult now. This case has hit me hard. I was always so protective of my girl, this mom. Well, it's upsetting. Yeah. So, Kimberly and I have lots of children. We have 5 children, 3 of whom are girls, and 2 of them are adults, and 1 is a little girl. And, when I think all of us are able to, I think maybe that's the reason why we react with so much disgust, is because we have people that we love in our lives that that this could happen to. And it's a frightening thought. It's a frightening thought. But you're right. I mean, Sonny, I honestly, like, based on all the documents that have been released so far, based on the body-worn camera footage, I just can't get past her not knowing. I think she knew. And I think it's obvious that she knew. Great comment. Oh yeah, Night Heron is saying, I have a 13-year-old daughter. Yeah. Right? You're expressing what I just said, that it's just so disturbing and infuriating. And Mooney says, yeah, I can't read those docs. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Okay, so if he posted this on the internet, it's now a federal case, isn't it? I haven't heard any indication that the feds have come in on this one. If he posted on the internet, well, I wonder if he did. We know that he had that in his Google Drive. And that's something that I hadn't thought about yet, Supernatural AL. Like, in my mind, him storing those things on those 1,700 files, the images and videos and so forth, on his Google Drive, was like his personal storage and it was for him. But of course, I don't understand what it is that drives these kinds of monsters. I just don't get it. But I mean, also, if it's on a Google Drive, it's easily shareable, right? So I wonder if a federal case can be made of this, or if it would be better to just let the state do it, because the state of Florida has very strong laws against crimes like these that the federal laws do not cover. Could be. I don't know. Um, that's a good comment and good question. Thank you. Yep, we'd asked Lily that. Yeah, Lily, you had asked that, and I think we covered that. Mooney, yeah. What, mom? I don't get it either. That's why I think that this is encoded language. This language that we read over here, this is encoded. When asked if it was normal that Stephan and Maddie sleep together without her being there, she said yes. Jennifer stated if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Orange County detectives, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, we read that. But, like, the normal person's reaction, like, first off, if they had multiple bedrooms, then Maddie shouldn't ever be in that bed, right? I mean, as a little girls have nightmares. They come into bed with mom. That's totally understandable and innocent. I totally get that. But as they're growing up, she should have her own space and be protected against that monster right there. She should have been protected. Good question, Mooney. And Michelle obviously agrees. I think we all agree with you. Yeah, so Supernatural says she trafficked her child to him, which is 30 years to life in federal prison. Yeah, and I think that it probably is capital punishment in the state of Florida. Everybody thinks she needs to be charged. Yeah. Let's see. Sunny says, "Do we know where the mom was that morning? I thought I saw that she saw her daughter getting ready for school." That is what she stated. Or that is what is in the documents that she stated, that she saw her daughter getting ready for school around 8. But it was like 7:30 in the morning when Stephan Stearns was throwing away her laptop and her backpack. So, yeah, I don't know why she hasn't been charged yet. I think we all believe. Yeah. Linz, it's good. Yes, that is the best way to do it. Catch up at 1.5 or 1.75. That's really good. Let's see. Michelle says she believes Jen will be arrested soon. I hope that is the case. Yeah, okay, so this is a good comment. The angles of some of the images will tell if Stephan alone took them. Only so much you can do with a phone in one hand. Yeah. Texas Patty. Yep. I agree. That's okay. It's insane to me, Jennifer Marie Joyce says, that anyone thinks they know for sure. We just cannot know. Imagine being her and not knowing and being absolutely dragged online. Just wow. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I totally do. Especially like, I mean, over the last couple of days in looking at the Micah Miller case, we have talked a lot about coercive control, right? And this doesn't look like the person that might. It's terrible, Gavin. Gavin, you're terrible. That's horrible. But I just think that she probably is easily manipulated. So it's possible, Jennifer Marie Joyce, that she is innocent. But I don't know. I think the probability points to her not being innocent. But it's just my opinion. Who knows? Let's see. Yeah, Michelle. She said she saw Maddie getting ready for school at 8. Gavin, if I understand it correctly, that document says he killed during the essay. I don't think that document is what it says. No, I think I'm not sure exactly what you're asking because, we're a little bit disconnected in time here, Mike, between the time you actually comment and the time I read it. But I don't think that there's been anything that has been said publicly that she was killed in the commission of SA. I think what it's saying is it's a capital felony in Florida to commit that kind of crime against children. And because he might be convicted of a capital felony in that case, then it's a capital death penalty case on the murder too. But maybe I'm not understanding your question because of that time disconnect, Mike. Yeah, I took the screenshot of Jen from an interview she did with a local TV station, and she was nervous, man. She was nervous. And of course, we all don't know how we would react if our child was missing. But let me tell you this story. When I actually have memory of this. When I was like 3, maybe 4. But if I was 4, I was a young 4. We lived in a house that had a basement. And it was like a 1-story rambler house with a basement. And underneath the downstairs, underneath the stairs in the basement is where we kept things like camping gear, sleeping bags, blankets, pillows, stuff like that. For a 3 or 4-year-old kid, it was an extremely cozy place. So one day I just was down there in the basement, which is where the boys' bedroom was, and my oldest sister's bedroom was down there too. And I went down and had a snooze in the basement. I woke up after my snooze, and I remember this vividly. I was kind of foggy, like I am when I wake up to this day, and I walk upstairs, and inside the house is my mom in the middle of the day. My mom, my dad, my grandparents, and 2 police officers. My mom was frantically looking for me. And I had been gone for like an hour or something like that. Maybe like a couple hours, maybe. That is the natural response to a missing child, right? Where's my child? Oh my goodness, where's my child? Call everybody I know. Everybody look for my missing child. That is not what happened here. It is not even close to what happened here. As you guys have rightly pointed out, it was her sister and her mother that called 911 and reported Madeline missing. It was not her. So I'm sorry. I can't remember who had that comment before. It was a good comment. Jennifer, I'm sorry, and I understand what you're saying, but I just am suspicious of Jen Soto. I'm just really, really suspicious of her. Let's see. We've been going. Yeah. I'm going to skip down to the bottom here. Golden Spudlet says, I lost my son in a store. He had climbed inside a clothes rack, and I was screaming his name and freaking out. When I found him, I was crying. This woman is trying to scramble and cover. Yeah, CYA. That's the way I read it. That's the way I read it. Gothic Breenax is with us today. She says she has an attorney. They're the ones who handed her ashes over to Madeline's bio dad, Tyler Wallace. Thank you for that comment. Let's see. Sonny says, I got lost when I was 3 while camping. Folks flipped out, police, rangers, etc. I would in the RV in the RV, 2 down, eating, cooking with an elderly nice couple. He went down. He went down to That's funny. I have another story of getting lost. It was my family. We were all living in Utah. All of my extended family. We were living up near my grandparents' home in that hometown, and it was my grandparents, my family, my aunt and her family, my uncle and his family. So my aunt and uncle and her family, and then my uncle and aunt, their family. Anyway, so all of us, when I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, we did a Disneyland trip, and it was a huge trip for us. We'd saved money and we had worked hard. Uh, anyway, we I think our plan, we first went to like Las Vegas and then went down to Los Angeles from there and did Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, stuff like that. But when we went to Las Vegas, we were at Circus Circus. And as a family, we had gone from probably our hotel rooms or something through the casino floor to the pool, something like that. But there was a white Lamborghini Countach sitting on the casino floor, and as a 7-year-old kid, I had never seen anything like it, not even close. I'd never seen anything like that, and I stopped and was like gobsmacked by the, oh, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I have no idea how long I was there. It felt like seconds, and when I turned around, everybody was gone. Like everybody was gone. I couldn't find him anywhere. A security guard found me in very, very short order. I was crying and everything, and took me to the security station, and then started making announcements. My mom came back and found me. Oh, she was unhappy. She was unhappy. But yeah, that is the normal reaction. Mooney, I lost my son in Kennedy Airport, New York, blasted through the metal detectors and screamed all the way up the stairs. Found him walking with a couple. Yeah. That is the natural response. That's why so many of us are so suspicious of Jen Soto. Well, guys, listen, that was a fun time to be chatting with you. Thank you very much. Let's remember Maddie Soto. And I know I did this whole screed that there's really no justice, but let's be supportive and hope that we get as much justice as we possibly can in this case, especially with Mr. Stephan Stearns, the defendant in this one. I believe that man has either a long life of misery ahead of him or a short life of misery ahead of him. Either way, I think they got him, which is all we can hope for. So tomorrow, I think, guys, I am going to be circling back to the Gabby Petito case of all cases. If you go over to my website, let me show you what I'm doing here. If you go over to my website, one of the cases that I covered, maybe the reason that a lot of you are here, was the 2021 murder of Gabby Petito. And I've got a lot on her here. Well, the FBI just did a doc dump of 366 pages of their investigative files, and we're going to take a look at some of those tomorrow. So if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to do so. And while you're at it, let me just show you guys this. It's called the Fish Tank. The Fish Tank is run by a couple of my intrepid moderators, my really, really good partners in this, Jamie and Autumn. We've got about 1,500 people over there, and it's a place where we gather to talk about true crime. So if you would like to join us there, one of the benefits of the Fish Tank is that Autumn and Jamie will alert you when I'm scheduled to go live, so that you don't have to depend on YouTube's notifications, which sometimes fail people. And oh yeah, look at that. Oh, look at that. The channel is growing. So if you have not subscribed yet and you think I've earned it, please do so. And join me back tomorrow. We'll be talking about Gabby Petito. We might be talking about somebody else as well. Who knows? Sometimes I do 2 in a day. Sometimes I do 3 in a day. You can never hold me back. Just come at me. I will do what I want. And I hope you guys join me for it. All right, with that, bid you adieu, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.